Is the rapture about to happen?
It happened without warning. One moment the world was normal. And then millions vanished. No goodbyes, no signs, no second chances.
Before I get into this, I want you to click like, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to have a link down at the bottom for a full sermon about this whole topic. Let me focus in on Matthew 24, verse 37. When the Son of Man returns, it will be like it was in the days of Noah. In those days before the flood, the people were enjoying banquets, parties, weddings, right up to the time Noah entered the boat. People did not realize what was going on, and until it happened, the flood came and swept them all away. That is the way it will be when the Son of Man comes. Then he goes on and says, 2 men will be working the field, one taken, one left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill, one taken, one left. And then Jesus said these words. He said, so you too must keep watch, for you do not know the day or the hour the Lord is coming. Jesus told his followers, so you too must be alert and keep watch. So what if the rapture is going to happen in a few weeks or in a few years? I don't believe it's as far off as people that are hating on this think. But he goes on and says this in verse 43, understand, if the homeowner knew exactly when a burglar was coming, he would keep watch and not permit his house to be broken into. Then he says, you also must be ready all the time, for the Son of Man will come when you least expect it. Can I tell you what Jesus said there? He says, if you are anticipating, you're going to be ready all the time. I hear this as a pastor. Is it going to happen in September? Is it going to happen in this year? Is it going to happen in the future? Well, I don't know. But Jesus said, you better live your life ready at all times. Then there's verse 45. A faithful, sensible servant is the one of whom the master can give the responsibility of managing his other household servants and feeding them. If the master returns and finds the servant doing a good job, there will be a reward. I tell you the truth, the master will put that servant in charge of all he owns. But listen to these next verses, because it says a lot about Jesus' return and how you and I should live. Verse 48. But what if that servant is evil and thinks, my master won't be back for a while? He begins beating on the other servants, partying, getting drunk. That master will return unannounced, unexpected, and he will cut that servant in pieces and assign him to a place with the hypocrites, in a place where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Jesus literally says something that you can overlook. He says, but what if that servant is evil? What kind of evil? And thinks, my master won't be back for a while. You know, this scripture speaking about a servant, it's somebody who knows about Jesus. He's waiting, he knows he's coming back, but Jesus says it's evil to be one of his servants and think, I got plenty of time. I don't have to worry about this right now. You should live ready for Christ's return every day. Jesus said this, and he says if he comes unannounced, he'll find that wicked servant, he calls him. There's no time to be treating other Christians bad, your brothers and sisters, harboring unforgiveness and hatred. Keep your heart right, Jesus said, at all times. So let me say this about all these Bible prophecies. They're not meant for us to debate. They're not meant, the signs of the times, to make us argue. They're meant for us to live a life of preparation. Jesus said that no one knows the day, the hour, but we will know the signs of the times. Paul even says it's not going to catch us off guard. Why? This is a powerful portion of scripture in Luke 21, verse 34. Take heed to yourselves, be on your guard, lest your hearts be overburdened and depressed, weighed down with giddiness and headaches and nausea of self-indulgence, drunkenness, worldly worries, cares pertaining to business in this life, and lest that day come upon you suddenly like a trap or a noose. For it will come upon all who live upon the face of the earth. Keep awake then, Watch at all times. Be discreet, attentive, ready, praying that you may have full strength and ability to be accounted worthy of escape of all these things taken together and will take place, and stand before the presence of the Son of Man. Be alert and awake at all times. I have no problem with everyone getting excited about Christ's return. Something's happening. It's waking people up, turning to God. Whether it happens in a few weeks or a few years, it's gonna happen. The question is, are you ready? Are you living a ready life? If you're scared and this all makes you nervous, all this talk and all these posts, all that means is you're not ready. Because for us that are ready, we're excited about being with Jesus. It is a joyous thing. Now, I'm gonna read you one last verse, and I want this to challenge you, especially if you're a believer. Romans chapter 13, verse 11. To live like this, all the more urgent, for time is running out, and you know it is a strategic hour in human history. It is time for us to wake up, for our full salvation is nearer than when we first believe. Paul is saying it is time for us to wake up. It's urgent. He's using strong words here, and he says, you live in an important time in history. I do believe we are living in the last days. I do not believe there's many generations left, according to all Bible prophecy. But here's the thing I'm gonna ask you as a Christian. Why are you alive in 2025? You could have been born in any other time in history. You could have been born 2,000 years ago when Jesus walked the earth. You could have been walking around 100 years ago. But Jesus wanted you to be alive now. God thought it was important for you to be his representation on earth, saved, born again, alive now. We can't choose what time in history we can be born. You can't choose your parents. You can't choose your nationality. You can choose Jesus, though. And Jesus wanted you to be alive, saved, and be the answer in these last days. You are responsible for this generation to tell the good news that they must be born again before Jesus comes back. That is how a Christian should live. Again, as I said, I have a full sermon about all these prophecies and all these things. The link's down there below. Share this with somebody. Jesus is coming back. Live a rapture-ready life.